Bom dia!
Tudo bem, amigo?
Muito bem, obrigado.
Excelente.
E tu?
Eu também, 5 estrelas. Obrigado.
Okay.
Okay, then let's get into the English. Shall we?
Okay, it's a good transition.
Okay, it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I was walking past a Portuguese man yesterday in the street talking to his pal. He's like, tá bem. Okay. It really is universal, isn't it? The okay. Or okay, I think a little bit more.
Yes, it's one of the cutest words that in my opinion, in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Just the way they say, okay.
Okay, all right.
And if it's a little girl saying it, it's just precious.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like...
You're too good at that. You only have to mention his name and here he comes. Antonio Barbosa, bom dia, Gumpers. Morning greetings from a crispy and fresh Minho. Land of the Vinha Verde. Yes, selection B. You were right as well there, Adrian. Happy Monday and a great week ahead. Tony Time, the man in the Minho. Vinha Verde green wine is actually a type of white wine, confusingly. Yes, and Vinha Verde is a region, as we found out recently, not just a type of wine. It is a DOC. We were talking about I don't know if you had joined us when we were talking about the S and the H on the lavatory doors. James, does that still throw you when you approach the WCs, the Casa de Baños?
No, I tend to look at the images, even in English, if it's got a skirt, it's for a woman, right? If it's got 2 legs, it's for a man. That's really easy. It's international.
Unless you're in Scotland. What about kilt?
Well, yeah. Then hopefully they would distinguish the male with a beard or something that was obvious. But,
yes.
But no, I haven't had too much problems with the difference between, S and M.
Yeah, S and M, right. That takes us in an entirely different direction. James just uses the one that's not occupied. That is also a custom. I've noticed that if you're in a local cafe, people just use the one that hasn't got anyone in it. If we do that at Palmyra, for sure.
Well, most places I've been, first of all, I don't tend to need to use the public restroom that much. But typically, it's in a restaurant or a cafe that is relatively small, and it's just a single door, just one bathroom, so you don't have the options. But
yes,
in the larger stores or in the larger restaurants, I'm sure they have.
So not a confusion for you then. Good to know. Anything else that continues to be? How are things going with you on your journey? We check in with you every month to see how that's going. People can do that, of course, as well with your old guy or an old guy in Europe YouTube channel. What's been going on for you? Peace Day, you were remarking upon on your Facebook timeline, I noticed as well. And I was hoping you'd tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, I try to make a point of honoring the International Day of Peace every year because I seem to be the only one that does.
Well done. Someone needs to, yes.
Especially on Facebook. I don't see it anywhere except on their Facebook page if I go to look for it. And to me, I mean, peace is such a hugely important thing in terms of how we exist on the planet together as people, as nations, as individuals, to be able to find a state of peace, to live in peace, to walk in peace, just feels to me like a really important thing. And it gets so little attention, and it's on the same day every year, and it has been for well over 40 years now, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah. So anyway, it's just I try to remember. I actually mark my calendar because it's easy to forget a specific day for a given holiday. And of course, in Portugal, there's a holiday every other day, so it's hard. It's hard. Like there was one going on this weekend. I don't even know what that is, but they got fireworks going, like bombs are exploding during the day, and you can hear the music from a kilometer away. So there's something going on. I think I saw something that it was some kind of religious holiday, but I don't really know. But Peace Day is, or it's technically the International Day of Peace, but like most other holidays, you just call it Peace Day. I was thinking as we were coming on, when you mentioned Peace Day, when I was backstage, are there any other international holidays that the entire planet is invited to celebrate on a given day. And I couldn't think of one. There
I think
might
you're
be.
quite right. Yes, because they tend to be religious, don't they? And there isn't a universal religion.
Yeah, or national,
We're still figuring that out, aren't we? a universal way of being. And perhaps peace is it.
Yeah, it would be great if it was. I mean, we have Mother's Days and Father's Days, but they're on different days in different countries. So that's not all on the same day for the entire planet.
Yes.
I guess I could do a little research and find out. That wouldn't be that
Yes.
difficult. But anyway, yeah, that was why I mentioned it on Facebook. It's important, I think, to get at least some eyes on it, some attention to it.
I agree with you. And yes, and as Matty's saying here, there's not a whole lot of peace. That's the point, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. As I said on my Facebook posting, it's not just peace. It's not just an absence of war. It goes down to a complete state of being, right?
Yeah.
How we are with one another, nations with each other, humans with each other, and how we are within ourselves. I mean, peace begins with me is not, it's like if the world is going to be at peace, a large number of humans need to be at peace with themselves and their families and their friends and their countries. So it's a long way to go, but we're not going to get there. We don't talk about it from time to time.
Correct. So thank you for the reminder. And as you say, it wouldn't be appropriate to be very angry about how unpeaceful people are.
Yes.
These days, but that's not the idea, is it? So you were modelling that yourself. Did you have a purposefully peaceful and quiet day? What did you do to mark the occasion?
Well, I tend to. It's sort of a daily practice for me to get grounded. As a matter of fact, a blessing that I offer is typically on my signature line is, "I wish you love, joy, and peace always." So, I figure if we have those three things in our lives, we got pretty much nothing to complain about. But peace is a part of that blessing that I offer. So so it's, I mean, we're all human, I go through my moments of I was like, okay, I'm not at peace then, and I'm blaming someone else, and I'm stuck in my ego because I need to be right and they need to be wrong. I mean, I'm human. We all do that. So the point isn't being perfect and never having those moments. The point, as always for me, is being mindful, being aware that I'm having that moment. This is not the moment I choose when I'm conscious, and to choose otherwise when I do become aware of it. And that's all we can do. And that's all we have control over. Again and again, those principles. I am the only thing that I control. Everything else is up to everybody else.
Everything is practice, is it not? Yeah. And you make a good point here, João Ernesto. Too often these days, peace is defined as when everyone else agrees.
Exactly.
Or when everyone else shuts the hell up. But yeah, it appears even now in 2025, we've still got a few things to learn about this practice.
A few.
One or two things. And yes, and it shouldn't stop us from trying. And I think the word intention comes to mind as well. It's like, what are we focused on? Are we focused on being right? Are we focused on being winning? Or to be peaceful and discover what that might mean in the active pursuit of it, or the active realization of it. Because again, when you get into pursuit, it can tend to spoil the the process as well. If you're trying to grab peace, it doesn't really work, does it?
Yeah, well, happiness and peace are all within. So pursuit of it is it's a concept that has really no meaning. You can't chase or pursue those things. You have to create them within yourself.
Yes.
You can be happy in the worst of times, or you can be unhappy in the best of times. That's all up to you. And same thing with peace. You can be at peace when the world is a lot like the world is now, with especially in social media, where it's all, well, not all, but so much anger and vitriol and hatred and accusations and finger pointing. It's like it would be really easy to not be at peace because if you buy into it. So I'm even limiting my exposure to social networking. Social media. I don't watch the news already. I don't read the newspapers if they still exist. I mean, I don't even know. I've looked at one for so long.
That's right. Yeah.
But
It's hilarious.
But I
Right.
really try to minimize my exposure to all of that, because I know that, to me, my belief is that that is not our natural state. Our
No, I
natural state
agree.
is one of peace and
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of
that's
calmness and
right.
one of
That's right.
centeredness.
And perhaps we're a long way from home. You might be it'd be very interesting, given you said, yeah, do newspapers still exist? If you go and buy a vinyl record now, if you go out to buy a vinyl record, James, you will have not known that they haven't been for sale for 20 years, because they're back again. It
Oh
may be that
yeah,
it might be the same with newspapers, that in about 10 or 20 years time, someone might say, oh, do you remember the retro feel of a newspaper? Let's print one as a special
yeah.
limited.
And books, there's a certain tactile experience that you
Yeah.
don't get electronically.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I know there's people who, well, I guess they're mostly older people who still, if they want the news and they know they can get it online, they still prefer having a newspaper in their hands while they drink their coffee or whatever.
Which of course was the mobile before the mobile, wasn't it? It's like, why can't we all just sit at the table without having to look at a book or a newspaper? But
Yes.
on it goes. The message stays the same, but the medium changes. Now, here's a in support of your peace initiative, perhaps not the method that you were practicing or would endorse, but if the whole world smoked a joint all at the same time, there would be 15 minutes of peace. This hasn't been thought through very well, I don't think, because
Right.
there are quite a few people who shouldn't be doing that at the same time, like air traffic controllers, maybe, and emergency staff and so on.
Well, and while I will concede that peace appears to be one state that is readily accessed through the use of marijuana, I've also seen confusion and a certain degree of just throwing out all kinds of crazy ideas and thinking they're great. I mean, there's a lot that goes on with that. So peace may be one of them.
What a fantastic summary. There's a lot that goes on with that. I'm done with vinyl, but I still have real book. Yeah, it is nice to hold a book in your hand, isn't it? And the weekly version of the news and the resident, absolutely. Yes, it's the old ones are the best ones. The old ones are the old. Thank you, T Duck, for that. And thank you, Matty, as well, doing his bit for peace. I usually end my weekly YouTube videos with stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and have a good life. And this was a good question as well, from Antonio Barbosa, which puts you on the spot a bit, but I don't think you mind being put on the spot. We've been doing this long enough, haven't we, for you not to mind that? And I know you'll just give us an honest answer. Are you at peace, James? Because I think, we can all ask ourselves this. That's the whole point of yesterday, in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and I think I addressed it, not specifically that question, but mostly would be my answer. I'm human. I'm not always at peace, and as none of us are always happy or always sad or always anything. But mostly, yes, I'm at peace. And when I notice that I'm unsettled somehow and not at peace, then that's my key. I'm noticing that, so that's my cue to make a choice about that. Do I want to stay in this state? Do I choose a different state? And if I choose a different state, what would it be? And if I'm, aware of peace is the issue, if I'm just not at peace somehow, I feel unsettled, then it's like, well, it's okay to stay there. Nothing wrong with being unsettled or not at peace. But my conscious and intentional choice is to choose the most optimum positive state I can find in any moment when I'm aware. So if I'm going to make a choice in that moment, I'm going to choose peace. It's like, oh yeah, so what do? Anyone who's been seeing me for a while knows that my first step is to take a deep breath and breathe in through the nose.
Feel free to do it now, everybody.
And that just immediately settles me down.
Woo!
And then I might remind myself to where's your peace, or find peace, or ask myself some question that will get me to the place that I've chosen to be. So that's the notice, choose, and act again and again and again and again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll have my moments where I get upset and I don't really notice and I don't make a choice and I stay upset. It happens. We're all human. But for the most part, I choose peace when I am conscious of the choice.
Thank you for that answer. Thank you. What about you, Antonio Barbosa, the man in the Mino? Nice and peaceful up there. Long walks give me peace. Your recipes for peace are most welcome this morning. And T-Duck also noticing you are at home. Home is where you hang your hat. James, do you know that that's a TV as well as a hat rack?
Oh, I thought it was just I could hang like a million hats off it if I had
No,
them, but I only
no.
have a couple. So
Well, there's another little bit of it which is about this big. It's black and it's got buttons on it. And when you press the red button, usually that thing on the wall there will light up and bring all sorts of unholy things into your life.
oh wow,
You're welcome.
I'll have to
You're
check that
welcome.
out. You think maybe that's what all those wires are?
Yeah, it's part of it. It needs electricity. There's other boxes that can connect to it, and all sorts of crazy stuff can happen.
Okay,
There's
well
a lot going on in
I'll go consult my encyclopedia about a variety of hat racks there are and see if there's some
Yeah.
machinery in there that does what you say.
Yes, that does what I say. This witchcraft I speak of this morning.
Work. It didn't do anything.
Actually, yeah, it's got to be plugged in as well. It's got to be plugged into the devilish mainframe, right?
I saw a meme of people like in the 1920s, or it was actually a short video, and it was British, of course. People sitting all properly at the dinner table, and they all had one of those old-fashioned handset. I mean, really old telephones.
Hilarious. Yes.
And the complaint was, why is everyone just sitting here staring at their phones? And you look at the table, they all had one of these big sets in front of them on the table.
It was really, really good, wasn't it?
It was very humorous.
Yeah. You know, everyone of every generation had it. And there was one sort of bright spark saying, look, we've got to stop this. Just while we eat, please. It was a very, very cleverly thought out. Right. We will be going to your Portuguese bird of the month. Just quickly, though, T-Duck asking, is face bag still a thing? And you're saying you don't go on social media so much. For both of you, you may have missed my picture from this weekend. And I just want to put the record straight on this. I didn't really go to Turkey for a quick
Speaking of marijuana.
I didn't. No, this
Dude.
is not my Turkish trip where I've got my hair transplant and my teeth surgery or whatever it's called. No, that was a joke. It's a long story which I won't go into right now. But I was in a bath of seaweed, which helped me to sleep very, very peacefully last night. So I would recommend that. So onward then to bird of the month. Oh no, it's not irritable owl syndrome, is it? And you're getting on my nerves.
No owls today.
It's the let me take the banner away as well so we can actually see.
And if you'll go to the first one, the brightest color, most colored one, I want to address that. No, the red and black and yellow, the one that is in Portuguese. That one.
Okay. So the Pintasilgo.
See. Again, all the birds that I share are birds that I have personally seen in Portugal so far.
Yeah.
And this by far has been the most striking bird I've looked at, and just in terms of what it looks like. But that's not what got me. It didn't catch my eye. I heard this amazing bird song just outside my studio window, and I went to go look who's making that sound. And right on the fence, which is about only a meter from my window, was a bird that looks like this, making this gorgeous sound, singing away. And I just thought, wow, that's amazing. And the color, and once you see it, it's, well, maybe even the first time you see it, it's hard not to see because the colors are just so vivid and striking. In the males, obviously, I've got the next one, I think, is a juvenile, which is very similar to a female, much less color. And then the one that you first put up is what they look like when they're flying, which you might not imagine. It's quite striking. You can see the flashes of color on their feathers while they fly.
Yeah, let me. I've got a bit of goldfinch birdsong in the background, so that's the one you're more familiar with.
What I wanted to say about finches is it's that's a species, and Europe has finches, and the United States has finches. They're probably all over the world. That's the juvenile that is very similar to the female in coloration. Unless they're breeding, of course, then they get a little more yellow. But that's the American goldfinch. You're confusing me now.
Oh, I beg your
And
pardon.
that's the European. It's called the European goldfinch when you look it up. But it's very different, obviously, than American goldfinch. And in Europe, they're not going to say, what kind of goldfinch are you looking for, because there are no American goldfinches in Europe, as there are no European goldfinches in America. But Pintasilgo is the name of the bird. And to me, I don't see very many birds with that kind of distinct contrast in their wings when they're flying. So I imagine they'd be pretty easy to spot, even if they're in a distance flying. I don't think you're going to see that on any other bird. So
that looks
anyway,
like a bird there, doesn't it? But I guess it's all a matter of scale, isn't it? But that's beautiful. Got quite.
yeah, it's I don't know, maybe a tiny bit bigger, roughly the size of a robin. I mean, a little bigger than a sparrow. The American goldfinch is a little smaller than that, a little daintier bird. But it's not a large bird by any means.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Then, so the Pintasilgo, the goldfinch, basically here in okay.
Europe.
So did you look for a literal translation of Pintasilgo?
Yes, and it came up initially as yellow goldfinch, and then it came up again when I switched from Portuguese to English. It switched to finch, I think. And then as I was typing it in, it went to green finch, and then when I finished, it turned to gold. So I don't know, it's something in the number. Maybe it's just a difference of 1 or 2 letters in the word. And I don't even know if there is such a thing as a green finch in Portugal.
No, we may get some help with that. The painted siskin, is that a type of finch as well? Okay. So Pintasilgo painted siskin. That sounds pretty similar, doesn't it?
Although a siskin is a different kind of bird than a finch. So I don't know. I mean, the translations are difficult because they're actually names, and not all names translate. But the best I could do, because I know enough about birds, I said, well, I know there's an American goldfinch, so let me look up European goldfinch. And when I did that, I got Pintasilgo, and it's also what it was called in my birding app. So that's what I went with.
Pinta is painted, isn't it? Pintarola, little candies, right? There you go. And siskin is a type of small, colourful finch in the family Fringillidae. I don't know if that's Latin or Portuguese there, but
probably
thanks for
Latin,
that as well.
Good to know.
The duck in tea duck, I think, alludes to an interest in a bit of twitching and ornithology there as well. So thank you very much.
Well, the only siskin I've been at all familiar with was in California, and it was called a pine siskin.
Yes.
But
okay.
I'm far from an expert.
No, well, and you don't need to be, do you? I mean, the whole thing about bird watching, I think, is just the love, isn't it? And the marveling at these incredible, miraculous creatures.
Yeah, one of the things that it suits me for a lot of reasons. One is that I tend to like to collect special things and unique things. So not a lot of things. I don't pile up, but like when I travel, I'll buy a mug that is representative of the place I've been. So that it just serves as a memory, and birds kind of satisfy that, it's kind of like working a puzzle. You're trying to figure out what it is and how you figure that out. And it's also, as you said, it's just really, is pleasureful a word? I think it is. Anyway, there's a great deal of pleasure that comes from it. And all you have to do to a walk is add a pair of binoculars, and now you can look at birds closely. So, it's fairly simple. And you don't have to be an expert. You can just look and go, ooh, look at that one. And then if you want to figure out what it is, you can go look for pictures of it and so on.
Well, isn't that the greatest thing? And it comes back to peace as well, doesn't it? That often just getting too obsessive and thinking about it too much can take away the momentary pleasure, can't it? So this happened on the beach yesterday, actually. It was very interesting. I don't often see a lot of seagulls. You see some in San Martino de Porto. I think they like to go along to Nazaré, further up the coast, where there's probably more people.
Well, maybe they prefer the coast, because there's a ton of them here in Espino. Then there's no bay like in San Martino. So
you might be right. And I saw some aerobatics. It was brilliant. There was some noise in the sky. and one young gull, I think, had managed to pick up a bit of food.
A sweet young girl.
A sweet young girl passed me by, followed by 3 others in the sky, trying to get a bit of old bifana.
Oh, they are thieves. The
It was
gulls. They will
amazing.
take food from anything they can get
Yeah.
it from, including your plate that you just bought at
My
the food
mother-in-law
stand.
was at a British seaside town last week. She had her ice cream taken out of her hand, and it's like there it was gone. It's like, what was that? They're so fast as well, aren't they?
Yeah, well, in Santa Cruz, I used to, because I was a docent at the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, so I'd stand there and watch, and I got a lot of opportunities to watch pelicans fish, which is really a trip because they dive in, they turn into a straight line and just stick their heads in the water, bam, and they come up with them. Well, the gulls knew this, so they just hung around, waited for that pelican to land, then they all swam to where it was coming up, and they all were trying to get inside his mouth to get the fish out. It was crazy.
Yeah, lovely to see. Lovely to see. Well, and I saw loads in the sky of gulls thereafter, and they were just, doing their aerobatics. There was a breeze coming in off the sea, and they were gliding on it, and there were just a good number of them in the sky. It just looked so beautiful. It was a really special moment, a Portuguese moment for sure. James, a great to chat to you in your monthly visit with your Portuguese bird of the month. Great to see the hat hanging up behind you. Anything else to report about your life? You're clearly very much at home in Espina, right? All is going well by the sound.
Yes, I'm really enjoying it. The biggest challenge for me in making the move from Ericeira to Espinho was mostly aesthetic. I mean, Ericeira is just a beautiful place. The views of the ocean, the views in general, which is all made possible by the fact that it's very hilly and cliffy and all that stuff, which is one of the things that made it difficult for me to get around.
Yeah.
And Espinho being flat, I pretty much walk everywhere. I think I mentioned before, in 1 month, I've walked, 30 or 40 kilometers in Espinho, and I didn't walk 30 or 4 kilometers in 6 months in Ericeira. So
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot more exercise. That is just me taking care of stuff or taking a walk along the beach, which is much easier, all that kind of stuff. So access has proven to be, and to public transportation. I mean, it's a 10-minute walk to the train. I'm not taking an hour and a half bus to Lisbon to then take 40 minutes to get to the train station. And so it's 2 hours just to get to a train. It's a 10-minute walk. I'm on the train. So that's a huge difference for me.
Yeah.
And I'm settling in very nicely. Acquisition of the language helps. So the more I learn, the easier that becomes. And that would have happened in Ericeira as well. But, it's happening here. So, yes, I'm very happy to be here. I took a 5-year lease, and I don't have any plans on trying to leave any sooner. So,
good man.
It's working very, very well for me.
Really glad to hear that. Yeah, talking of the grasp of the language. Do you remember the thing we did, the elephant in the room, and some of our efforts to help people with Portuguese? I've put them. I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes on the classroom at the Portugal Club, and one of the things is alongside of Vitor and mainly Maria's, and with some help from Vitor on their 30-day Portuguese. Alongside that, I've got this thing called Pop in Portuguese to make your Portuguese pop. And it's just loads of little snippets, including the stuff we did together, which was really what to say after you've said hello, right? I don't know if you remember these, James. It's a little...
I do.
Yeah, that's us there. So that's over there in the Portugal Club. Lots of different teachers, lots of little bits, bite-sized sort of stuff. Pintarolas of Portuguese pintarolas, I suppose, or pop in Portuguese, just to turn up the heat a little bit and make it pop like Portuguese popcorn and help you. As you're saying, language acquisition, it just makes so much difference, doesn't it, to have that in your kind of mental back pocket, as it were, to come out with and just connect with people.
Yes. Well, and I just have to, you're just making me think that whenever we can associate something in Portuguese to something we already know, it makes it easier to remember. Yeah. And 2 things that I have never forgotten once I came up with something that worked in that regard. I mentioned just recently on one of my Old Guy in Europe episodes, Senora, Senora. because I was trying to remember
Yeah,
Sonora, the
I listened.
carrot, right? And so it's
Yeah.
like, oh, Mrs. Carrot will help me to Senora, Sonora, because they sound the same. The other thing I realized was the word for yesterday, on time. I say, oh, yesterday is always on time.
Yeah, very good. It's like Chris was saying, wasn't it? The three ask someone to repeat it 3 times. That was his advice to Keith. Once to hear it for the memory, and once for the muscle memory when you say it back to people. I think that's what Chris was saying. But yeah, definitely learn it like your life depends on it. I think you haven't maybe gone quite that far, James, but you're,
No,
you're you're a great student for sure, and it's lovely to speak to you this morning. Anything else you want to share before you go? I can hear a phone. I don't think it's mine in the studio. I don't know how that's happening. But anyway,
it's not mine.
hopefully,
I'm hearing it over there through the
oh, they've
earphones,
stopped.
but
They've stopped
it's
now.
stuff.
I'll be
That
with
was a
you in
very persistent ring.
one,
Like 20 rings.
and I don't know where it was coming from, but anyway,
Yes.
they've gone now, and they'll leave me a
Okay.
message hopefully. So yeah, last word from you, my friend.
Uh, wow. Last words. It just feels to me with all this talk of peace, and then having a chance to talk a little bit about being here in Spino, which is I also wanted to mention when I was asked if I was at peace. I said being in Portugal makes it much easier for me to find my peace. I mean,
Yeah,
nothing makes me anything. Portugal doesn't make me peaceful. You don't make me happy or unhappy. I do that. I'm responsible for that. But in a certain environment, it becomes easier for me to make that choice. And Portugal certainly makes it easier for me to
yeah,
be at peace.
of course.
I can choose peace much more easily because, for the most part, my experience of the Portuguese people and all the interactions I have are very peaceful and friendly and generous, and all of that. So,
Yeah, it helps, doesn't it?
so
No,
yeah, peace is a choice, always, like happiness. And the first place to notice is noticing, am I at peace, and then choosing, do I want to be?
thank you very much, mate.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful words to go into the week with, and we'll see you again next month. You and your next Portuguese bird of the month. Take care.
Looking forward to it. Muito
All right.
obrigado.
Até já. Até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.
Ciao, ciao.
Bom dia e boa semana. Right, as promised, a little bit more music. Let's go out with a trio of tunes. And I wanted to play a little bit of music, "Love and Affection" by Joan Armour Trading, because it was I was reminded of it by Andero, formerly by Randy, who was saying, I think, that he saw, was it? No, it was Tony Bryant. Forgive me. It was Tony who said Joan Armour Trading was wishing Pete Murray, the great British DJ, a happy 100th birthday. It's a good reason to play from that point of view. And also, we've got in memory of Prosecco Peggy as well. The tune is called "Love and Affection," and that's how I remember her. So, with great love and affection for Prosecco Peggy, who passed on a Saturday evening, health complications, and she passed on in her sleep peacefully, by the sound of it. So, rest in peace, and love and affection for you, who we remember as Prosecco Peggy. And